So first thing we're going to start off with is I'm going to cover, and welcome, Andrea. I'm going to cover how I got into this. So you know me on a little bit of a personal level on how and why I actually am teaching this. Because sometimes when we connect this type of information to a person's story, it can really help. Because there's a lot of information in the world in terms of health and what's right and what's wrong. So in my journey, I always found that testimony and anecdotal evidence is how I found my healing, as opposed to scientific studies and all that kind of stuff, which, depending on the type of mind and the person that you are, is how you look for information. All right. So the first thing is I dealt with extreme chronic illness. I was to the point where I could not even function in life. I was sleeping 20 hours a day. My adrenal glands, my liver were essentially like shutting down from the toxicity issues that I was dealing with from the things I was exposed to when I was in the military. The self-destructive behavior that I was in with the drinking and all that. And I also, when I was young, 17 and 18 years old, I was put on the two worst medications that a human being can be put on, which one was called Accutane, which is actually a drug for chemotherapy patients, but it was hurting people so bad they couldn't give it to people that were chronically ill anymore, and they started giving it to people for their acne. So I went in to see a dermatologist when I was 17 years old as a kid, wanted to get some pimples cleared up, and they gave me this chemo drug. No one knew that it was that at the time. It's now banned, and it essentially destroys and rots your body from the inside out. It's just what it does. I had my mental capacities just completely lowered, and it really hurt me. And then I was also put on something when I was in the military called Levaquin, which is one of the strongest antibiotics on the market, and it did a lot of damage to me as well. And then I was an alcoholic for a lot of years. I was exposed to a lot of serious stuff in the military. And then I hurt my back to the point where I couldn't walk. My body literally was shutting down, And these raw foods, what I'm going to show you today, these are the foods that when I learned about them, they rejuvenated my body. The symptoms didn't just go away. My body actually reversed. I look younger now. I feel better now than I did 5 or 6 years ago. And you can see it in pictures. So a lot of times the diets out there and the paths that other people show, yeah, the symptoms may stop, because if we stop banging our head on the wall, our head's going to feel better. But when we can actually heal and actually reverse the damage that we've done to us, that's really the power that this type of stuff that I'm going to show you today can bring you. All right. It can legitimately reverse and heal your DNA on a very deep level. All right. These living foods are very powerful. And my wife, she had thyroid cancer, extreme gut issues her whole life, and these foods also rejuvenated her as well in the same way. All right. So why raw food? Right? So sprouts is a raw living food. That's a form of it. It's one of the major components of it. But first, I'm going to speak on why raw food. Okay. So raw food means it wasn't cooked, or, it's just fresh, right? We think of it as fresh. But the raw food in the grocery stores, you can get the best organic thing, a box of spinach at the grocery store. It's almost 2 weeks old. Okay. And 1 cup of spinach 50 years ago equals 50 cups of spinach now, because we have extreme mineral depletion in our soil. All right. We continue to grow crops and we do not replenish Mother Earth like we should. Therefore, our food does not have in it what it should. If you go to some place in South America and you eat food down there, vegetables down there, it tastes totally different than what you're finding in the Western world. All right. So sprouts are a way for you to minimize and close that gap, because when we're 70, 80, 90 years old is when this stuff really shows up for us. All right. And what got me into this so much is I found 70, 80, 90-year-old people teaching this, and they look like they're 40, and they look like they're 50, and they're still doing yoga, and they're still like they're living 30 years younger, not sick, not like they have their issues. Hey, they're not like, but it's a totally different paradigm than what we see on a normal world. So when I started to live this way, that's how I want to be, because I see, and a lot of people that get into this is because they want to heal something. Some people get into it just for better self-development and things like that. So the sprouts you do in your own home. So when you eat them, not only are they raw, but they're still alive. They literally have something called a biofrequency to them. You can put them under a special light called Kirlian photography, and they glow. It looks like there's electrical pulses all over them. And the dead food, a lot of times, if we cook food, it kills that light. And you can even get a raw fruit and vegetable from the grocery store, and because it's traveled across the country or whatever, it's 2 weeks old, it doesn't have that light. But sprouts, it literally looks like just magnetic stars shooting all over it. Okay, that is the power of this food. You eat a little bit of it, and it's filled with phytochemicals, which are plant chemicals. All right, filled with macronutrients, things that we're just not getting in our food. So supplements are a huge thing in the world. Everybody's trying to cram you with supplements. You're literally growing a living raw supplement for yourself. Okay, and I'm going to pick 3 of them today just to specifically talk about. They're all grown the same way, but there's going to be 3 today that I think everyone should have in their diet, and I'm going to get into that. And I'm going to show you how to actually do this. It's so simple. Anybody can do it if you're busy or whatever. All you need is a kitchen and a sink. That's it. That's all you need, and a jar and a couple things I'm going to show you. So the raw food, when we eat this biofrequency, when we eat the living foods, our body gets something beyond vitamins, beyond nutrients. It gets the living live frequency. And this is what nobody's talking about. Okay, this is what's found only in certain places. I got certified under Hippocrates down in Florida. They're one of the leading people in the world for living raw nutrition. It's the living foods. So it's a huge component on how to eat living food. All right. So when you eat it, it's literally like, think about it still growing as it's going down your throat. That energy is transferred into you, and it gives you light. It's literally like you're eating light. I'm not going to get into the woo-woo-y stuff. There's a whole other side of that too, but you're literally like eating light. All right. And it turns your body on. You literally feel it after a while. You will just feel better. And you'll see yourself change too. The nails, your hair, your eyes, everything just starts to get better. All right. And I have seen the gravest chronic illnesses, not only the stuff that I healed myself, but I mean, the sickest people turn themselves around because they go all the way. This is all they eat. They don't put anything else in their body. But if you're given 6 months to live, I've seen multiple people in that situation, countless, hundreds and hundreds of testimonies of people that completely commit to this lifestyle 100% because there's no room for them, right? They completely turn their life around and they're fine. All right. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to switch cameras, and I'm going to show you a quick demo on how to do it. And you guys are going to get this recording. If you want, you can email me, and I'll send it out in a recording. And then, so if you want to take notes, I recommend it because it works the left and right hemisphere of your brain when you write stuff down, and it really helps you learn it better. But I'm going to switch over to another camera, and then we're going to get rolling. And then any questions you guys have, I'm going to answer. And if you guys have any short health question and answer about anything that may be going on in your life personally in terms of health, I'll answer some of that too. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to set the other camera up, and then we're going to get rolling. Be right back. All right. Can you give me a thumbs up, Andrea, if you can hear me? I think she gave me a thumbs up, right? Awesome. Ko, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we're going to get into just, like I said, 3 sprouts today that I think everybody should be growing. And I'm going to explain why. Okay. The first thing we're going to talk about is broccoli sprouts. All right. And they're a very small seed. Okay. Broccoli sprouts have the highest concentration of something called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane literally kills cancer. It completely disintegrates it. See, I can't say this on social media. I would get banned. But I can say it in my live Zoom classes. So I can teach stuff like this. It literally is a cancer-destroying element. Okay, so sulforaphane. The pharmaceutical industries actually tried controlling broccoli sprouts 10 years, probably 15 years ago now. They literally tried to patent and own broccoli sprouts because of the sulforaphane content that's in them. But luckily, we had a constitutional judge, and they said, no, you can't patent nature. I'm not making this up, okay? So broccoli sprouts should be, in my opinion, in everyone's diet. They are an extremely high vibrational food. And sulforaphane, it just cleans you. It is very, and they taste amazing. They're my favorite. So we're going to get into how to grow these, okay? And the next thing we're going to talk about is lentils, all right? Now, I recommend lentils because most of us have deficiencies in iron and magnesium and things like that. And for women, when you are on your moon cycle and you are depleting yourself of some minerals and things like that, this is an amazing time to really eat lentils because it can help balance you out with what your body is letting go of. So a lot of women find relief in eating lentils. I know one thing, when my wife starts to crave lentils, I know like what's going on, and she has put 2 and 2 together, and it's just the body naturally starting to eat, you know, a living something really that's going to replenish you, something that's really for what's going on in your body at the time. So, and also for men, you know, if they're going to the gym or they're looking for that extra bump in their diet, lentils are packed with protein. They're a living raw lentil, so they do not react with your body the same way as a cooked lentil, like in a soup. They're very easily digestible. And I'm going to show you what they all look like here in a minute, okay? And the next thing we're going to move on to is something called fenugreek. Now, I don't have them out here, but I have them in my hand, and I'm going to show you what they are. Fenugreek is one of they're considered a queen sprout. And the reason they're considered a queen sprout is because they say that they have like a feminine nature to them, and they make you smell very good. So if you eat fenugreek sprouts every single day, when you start to like break a sweat or something like that, people are going to say, hey, you smell like sweet. You smell like almost maple syrup. And you actually will smell it too. It comes out of your body because it really purifies your body. And it's a blood detoxifier. And also, there's many, many circumstances when women are having trouble in their reproductive systems with pain or dysfunction. Eating fenugreek sprouts helps that entire reproductive system boot up and flow nicely. Like it helps clean and for all of it to function nicely. And it actually can help you for women that have infertile issues. So it really, that's why they call it a feminine plant, because, and it has a lot of feminine qualities to it, because it really helps with the reproductive system in women, but not only women, also men. It helps so much with the reproductive systems, okay? And it makes you smell good. It makes you smell great. Like some people struggle when they're going through a detox, if you eat these every day, you're going to smell good. One other thing we're going to talk about is garbanzo beans. Oh, these are lentils. So I'm going to show you what they look like before you sprout them. These garbanzo beans, everybody's seen them, they're just seeds. You able to see this? They're just like little, just dried out chickpeas they look like, right? And instead of cooking them, I'm going to show you what to do to keep them raw and living and live. All right. So garbanzo beans are a great thing to have because you can make your own hummus. You can make your own, you can make it into like a guacamole type thing with avocado. Because when we buy stuff from the stores, it's filled with processed food, processed stuff and everything like that. But when you make it fresh in your own kitchen, it's so easy to make. It really is so easy. You won't go back if you give it a try. And this is a way that it's just going to upgrade your health. All right. So I'm going to come around here and I'm going to show you what each of these look like. All right. So let me see here. All right. So these are the fenugreek sprouts. Let's see the best way to show you. These are the fenugreek right here. They're like beautiful looking. They have a little tail on them. They have a little tail on them. And you just eat them. You put them in your salad. You can do a lot of different things with them. These are the lentil sprouts. And as you can see, everything grows and has a tail on it. These are the lentil sprouts right here. And these are the mung bean. These are another type of sprout. So as you can see, the tails on all these continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that shows you that they're still alive. And then this is what broccoli essentially looks like. I didn't have any grown, but this is what broccoli will look like kind of. And these are alfalfa. All right. Alfalfa covers the whole nutritional. I mean, they have so many vitamins and nutrients in them. It's crazy. So these grow very easily in your own kitchen. All right. And then I'm going to give a class in the future. I wanted to show you guys these. These are a tray sprout. These are a king sprout. They're called sunflower sprouts. They're absolutely amazing. But these are grown in trays. I just wanted to present them to you. So now we're going to get in how to do this. All right. Very simple. So simple. So like I said, you're going to get a recording on this, but sometimes when you're going through a class like this, I say make notes at where your mind's at. Like give yourself inspiration. That's how I got into this. This stuff just inspired me. And when you start doing it, it inspires you even more. Okay, so we're going to start with broccoli sprouts. Very small seeds. 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of seeds goes into a jar, just like this. Cold water. And you just soak them. And you only need to fill that much just to cover the seeds. That's it. Okay? The seeds soak overnight, 4 hours to overnight. So you go to bed at night, you soak the seeds, you wake up, and you're going to put a sprouting lid. These are very inexpensive, like this. All right? The lid goes on top of the jar. When it's done being soaked, you will turn the jar upside down like this. There's little feet on them. And I'm going to show you exactly what we do. Okay? So now you're going to rinse them 2 times a day, in the morning and at night. And broccoli sprouts, 5 to 7 days, your jar is going to look like this. See how they grow? See that? They go from this to this in 5 to 7 days. So when I say that they're living, that's what I mean. They're really alive. They're really raw. Okay. And they're beautiful. Like they're like a very unique looking thing. They're very cool. So 2 times a day, it's all it's going to take. You fill your jar up. Like if I were to be rinsing this, I would just fill it all the way up, give it a shake, dump it, and then you kind of shake everything out, and then you just let it sit in your tray, or see how I have this dishwash machine back here. Some people use that. We have a tray over here. I'm going to show you our setup before we're done, and that's it. That's it, guys. That's how simple broccoli sprouts are. So that's all you got to do to give yourself broccoli sprouts every single day, and give yourself a huge boost in this toxic modern world. All right. Garbanzo beans. All right. Garbanzo beans is, we're going to do a 1/2 cup. They're a little different. Seeds are a little bigger. All right. Same thing. 1/2 cup. Pour water in here. Let them soak. Now, for the garbanzo beans, we can use a different lid. See how these holes are bigger? That's it right there. So depending on what seed you're using is depending on what sprouting lid you'll have. You know, if you have big sprouts, you can have bigger holes. If you have small sprouts, you have the smallest holes. Pretty simple. Once again, now the garbanzo beans, you only want to soak for about 4 hours. We have found 4 hours is the best. Otherwise, they can kind of not sprout the best. Some people have different methods. We have found 4 hours, cold water, then we rinse the next day, rinse and drain 2 times a day. And garbanzo beans are 2 to 3 days. You're going to know when they're done because they get a little tail on them. And you're going to learn as you go along when, like, every atmosphere is different. So you're going to learn when, like, they're done for you. But it's about 2 to 3 days, you know? And lentils are the same thing. Lentils we do 1/2 cup as well. Where's my cup? Oh, left it in here. All right. Now, this thing's kind of cool. See this little, like, funnel? That helps when you do, you know, we do a ton of this. My wife and I, we went completely 100% raw for 1.5 years. And all we did was eat foods like this and juice and stuff like that. And that is when we turned our health around. Like, that was a pivotal point in both of our lives. We're not 100% raw now, but we both wanted to heal some serious chronic issues. And our bodies literally came alive. Okay. So 1/2 cup of lentils. And you fill it with cold water. And that's it, guys. Rinse and drain 2 times a day. Lentils are, let me see here, 2 to 3 days. Now, lentils can soak overnight. They're like a hard. So that's it. And then you're going to see your plate look like that when you go to eat. If you choose to, and you make a salad or whatever you eat, make a sandwich out of it, whatever you're eating, if you add these into your life, you're going to feel better. You're going to notice a difference. It's that simple. I'm not trying to change the way anybody eats unless they ask me. All I say is, hey, whatever you're doing, just put this in there too. You know, it's very, very important. The stuff can really change your life. All right. So that's it. That's how simple it is. And there's so many different kinds. There's alfalfa, there's mung bean, there's red clover, there's bean sprouts, there's a zucchini bean, and what else is there? There's kamut. That you can make bread out of kamut. That's really good. There's so many different types of sprouts out there. And then there's the tray sprouts, which are sunflower sprouts, pea shoots, and wheatgrass. They're the three things. I'm going to have a whole other class on that. That's a little bit more involved than these things. Okay, so now I'm going to show you like just what we do and how we rinse and drain, so you guys can see exactly what we do. All right. All right, so I'm going to bring you over to my little station here. So we just have a little tray here. See that? We have a tray against our wall. All right. And we just sit them in this tray, lean them up against the wall, and this is where they drain. Now, I'm not going to rinse and drain this for you because these are about to be done. So we let them dry out a little bit before you take them out of the jar. All right. And you just let them soak, you know, like on a shelf here. And then you just rinse they're soaking overnight. And then when they're ready to rinse and drain, then you just move them over to here. And twice a day, you just rinse and drain. It's that simple. And they're just going to grow in there. You know, so there's like little ridges in here that help stand it up. And these things are cheap. You know, and we have a little, not a sticky thing under here so the tray doesn't slide. And one more thing I'm going to cover. Let me set this back here so you can see me well. Okay. One more thing I'm going to cover is when the sprouts are ready, when they're fully done, when you're ready to take them out of the jar, you're going to let them sit out on a dish or a tray or something like that to dry. Okay. If you can eat them right away, but if you want to store them in the fridge, it's best to let them dry off a little bit. And then you get these bags. They're called Debbie Green Meyer bags. And they're a special type of bag that you can keep all your produce in, by the way, not mushrooms, but all your produce. And it's going to last so much longer, like two to three times longer. So if you go get expensive organic vegetables at the grocery store, they start to go to bad in your fridge. You keep them in these special bags. They stay crunchy. They stay fresh a lot longer. All right. These bags are a game changer, and you want to keep your sprouts in there, and you really want to get your sprouts nice and dry before you put them in the fridge. Otherwise, like any other vegetable, if you put a ball of wet vegetable in the fridge, they can get a little funky on you. All right. So you want to keep them real fresh. All right. You want to keep them dry, and you want to keep them in that bag. All right. I'm going to close this down. And I'm going to move back to, I'm going to unpin. 1 second, everybody. I'm going to unpin this. There we go. Oh, am I still pinned, babe? Okay. All right. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So it's pretty simple, right? It's not hard. That's it. The key is there's a lot of YouTube videos and there's a lot of stuff that teaches you how to do this. So it's like if you ever need a reference video, but the thing I really want to bring home is the power of what you're eating. Because the connection to truly understand how much everybody's like, oh, you're just going to eat a couple sprouts, but like on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, it's going to help you. You know, it's not like, oh, I eat a handful of sprouts tomorrow, I'm gonna like feel differently. But on a consistent basis over time, this changes people's blood work. When people start to eat like this, their blood work changes significantly within like a couple days. When people have nutritional deficiencies and they go onto this food, like, you know, really sick people, it's like they don't have any room in their life. They eat nothing but this for a couple days. Their blood work changes like dramatically because this stuff is bioavailable for you. It's instantly into your body. Make sure you chew it very well because sometimes our guts aren't used to this type of food. So you really want to break it down and nice. But, you know, just real quick, you know, there's these dressings that I use that are very healthy, some olive oil and like coconut aminos and this Bragg's liquid aminos. Very healthy for you. Doesn't have any of the preservatives and stuff. And I just mix that with some olive oil and I make a huge salad. And almost every day I try to eat something like that. And game changer. So that's it. That's the quick class I wanted to show you. Now it's just, hey, any questions on your part? I'm an open book right now.
So, are there specific?
Are you saying something, Kaya? You are muted.
I am. Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, I might be muted. Oh, I was muted. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Do any of these have specific? I know that you mentioned lentils for iron, but do I need to grow multiple of these, or is it my choice? Because I don't know if there's different nutrients. Each one has different nutrients, or
there is. It depends if you have a specific something you're after, but the fenugreek, the broccoli, and the lentil. That's why I have those three. It covers like so much stuff. I would add alfalfa in there too.
Okay.
Alfalfa is really powerful, and it tastes really good. Like all of them have magnificent qualities to them, but I kind of like because you know some have better qualities for like different things or whatever. But those three things, broccoli, in everybody's diet, hands down. You know.
Okay.
The sulforaphane is so important.
Okay, you started with the lentils as half a cup, garbanzo sprouts, half a cup, broccoli sprouts, a tablespoon, but I didn't get the fenugreek.
What's the fenugreek? Half a cup for fenugreek too.
Okay.
When you buy these sprouts, just to let you know, normally the packages have everything on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you won't like that. Those type of details right on the package, it'll tell you what to do. And just to let you know, if it's hot wherever you are, Andrea or Kaya, I don't know where you're from, but you can't grow these in a too hot environment. You need like if it's above 75, you're gonna have issues. So if it's really hot out and you have sprouts growing, we always make sure our air conditioner's on. Just to, you don't got to keep it cold, but just to keep the humidity out, you want to keep it around 74 or 75. You don't want to get it above there, not without the air on, because your sprouts can, it is a moist environment. So if you don't, the reason we rinse it twice a day is to make sure nothing starts to grow in there or anything like that. So if it's humid and stuff, your sprouts just start to like look weird and they go bad. So, but I will definitely send it to you, Andrea.
So in my house, winter's coming up. There is no heat or air conditioner in my kitchen. Mm-hmm. So the kitchen gets significantly colder than the rest of the house.
You're fine with cold.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine with cold.
And the only other question that I had was, is there like a portion size? Because I mean, I could eat probably one of those whole jars. And
You'll
then,
be fine.
do I understand? But is there like a minimal amount? Because if I'm growing 3 or 4 jars, I could probably, I'm gonna have to wait. I want to have some every day.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna like learn a little rotation status. You're gonna see how much you're eating. Like if you could get a raw salad in you every day, it's gonna be really good for you. But also this helps grow the bacteria in our gut too. So you don't want to go just cramming a whole jar down you at once. You want to make sure that you want to integrate this stuff into your system. After a while, you totally could eat a jar every day. Maybe not the same one, but you could have like, I eat a huge bowl of sprouts every day. And you want to make sure you chew them very well. And some people can't eat one sprout because it makes them like gassy and it hurts their stomach or whatever, just because they don't have the enzymes in their stomach yet. So you eat the other sprouts, and then like Nikki, my wife, she literally couldn't eat any of these. Her stomach would bloat, but now she's built the enzymes up in her stomach. She has a full bowl like me of sprouts. So work with your body, listen to your body. Your body will tell you what to do, but you could have a jar being harvested every other day. No problem. It won't cost you too much money. It's very inexpensive to do this. It really is. But having a jar ready to go for you every other day, you could easily do it. Yeah.
So how many jars do you rotate between the two of you?
Well, we also sell them to people.
Oh, okay.
So like, just one dose of, probably one serving, right? One jar?
Oh, yeah.
So this is like one jar. This is how much fenugreek you'll get out of one jar. This is a bag. This is a pretty good amount, So sometimes we'll have 10 jars up there going at different stages because we like different things, It's kind of cool. And if we have like company coming over, we'll sprout a bunch of garbanzo beans and make like a fresh hummus. You can make a hummus out of lentils too. Like you can blend lentils in with some olive oil and water with some nutritional yeast and throw some of this in there and make like this lentil hummus. No preservatives. It's a meal in itself and it tastes amazing. Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Nikki. I just have a quick.
Oh, wait, let me mute you. Okay, go ahead.
I don't have a webcam on this laptop, sorry guys, but a helpful hint for when you first start, because when you first start, you're not going to know when the seed is done. So if you have a bunch of jars going at one time, what I did when I first started is on the actual lid, the sprout lid that Mike showed you, I got a permanent marker and wrote a letter. Like I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. And then I got a calendar that I stuck to my refrigerator. And if I soaked the seeds on a Monday, the next day is day 1. And then I would count how many days out, whether it's 2 or 3 days or 5 to 7. And I would mark 5 to 7 days out on the calendar. I would put the letter of the lid. So I knew which jar was going to be ready on that day. And we say 5 to 7 days because it depends on how hot your house is. You'll know when the sprout looks ready when the tail comes. But that was a helpful tip for me when we first started to keep track. And now I don't mark anything down and I just know. And what I do for the seeds that take about a week, every Sunday and Wednesday, I soak those so that I know every Sunday and Wednesday, I'm harvesting a jar of those. It just keeps it easy for me. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, baby. So yeah, she's a sprout queen. She really like, I'm gonna quick show you guys. Okay, this is how we grow the king sprouts. Now we don't have too many going here, but as you can see, we have, at one point in time, we thought we were gonna do this professionally and start a whole farm. So this whole room, we were growing a lot of trays at once. Now it's just for us. And this food, I teach people all sorts of things to do with this type of stuff, because this is wheatgrass and you can use it to really heal yourself and heal your colon and rebuild the flora in your stomach. These are sunflower sprouts growing. So like this is a whole, I'm actually going to have a course that you can purchase, because this is like more in depth. But still, you could just do it in your windowsill in small amounts. But when you start growing trays, you're going to really understand what you're doing. And, so that's called the king sprouts. So the jar sprouts, and then you have the king sprouts. The king sprouts are on the trays and they take a little bit more effort, but anybody can do it. It's really not that much effort. Once your life gets used to it, it's pretty simple. And you'll find yourself not needing as much food, because you're getting so many nutrients in your body that you're just not going to want to eat as much. Like, I don't eat nearly, I'm a 180-pound guy. People would think I eat way more than I do. And I don't need that. Compared to, I see how much some people eat the way I used to eat. And if I ate like that now, I would be sick, because my body's used to I eat a bowl of sprouts and I might eat something else in the day and that's it. I drink a juice and I'm done. And this is me. It's not like I don't have the energy. I do serious, sometimes I do like very physical things, and I've never felt, depleted in any way or anything like that. And so this stuff really holds its own. So the tray sprouts are really cool. What was that?
That was me.
Oh, that was you? Okay.
Can you show the dehydrators tray that we use to dry the sprouts on?
Oh yeah, so I'm going to show you the tray real quick. Just something like this. This is what we dry them on. You don't have to use this, but these are trays for our dehydrator. I don't know if you know what a dehydrator is, but just like a little screen. We just lay all that, right out of the jar, they're going to be all wet, right? So you just lay them, spread them out on here, and then they dry for 2 hours maybe or something. And then I put them in the fridge. That's that simple. And you'll learn what works for you, like your lifestyle, like when you're going, way you work, if you got kids or whatever's going on, you're going to learn how to make all this happen in your life. It's in the beginning, you're going to have to focus, and do it and regiment it. But after a while, we don't even think about it. It's it just happens, there's just stuff around and it's nothing to think about. It doesn't take any energy to add, but in the beginning, it takes energy to add new things into your life, and this is something that's worth the energy and the power that you have to put out, It's one more thing to think about in the modern world, but this is worth it.
Kaya, just because I see that you're kind of far away from the computer, you might not have seen the chat of something I said regarding drying. Don't look at it. I'm going to say it now. When you dry them, if you skip the last rinse and let them just sit in the jar, they'll generally dry in the jar. And then the next day, you can probably put them right in the Debbie Meyer green bag and right in the fridge. The broccoli, like the lentils, the garbanzo, the broccoli, alfalfa, and red clover, those are the fluffy ones. They will likely still have to be put on a tray for a couple hours. But if you skip that last rinse, so say you start on a Monday, they're going to be ready the next Monday. Sunday night, don't rinse them. And then they'll kind of dry out in the jar, and then it makes for a quicker drying the next day.
Okay, I have some drying trays for the dehydrator, so I'll just use those too.
Yeah, perfect.
I just put that on top of a plate. Probably not even necessary, but in my brain, I think it allows for more airflow. I don't know. That's what I do.
I'm so glad you guys did this. Thank you for this.
And for people that are if somebody comes to me and I'm working with somebody that's really sick, I have them grow a ton of these and they can juice them, and you make a tonic. You know, you need the masticating juicer like we have that I suggest people to get, but you can juice the fenugreek and the broccoli sprouts and all of that and get, I mean, so much in your body, you know? So, but for someone that's not trying to overcome a serious challenge like that, it's not necessary to juice them. You can juice them in your juices just a little bit and it changes the flavor, but you can make tonics out of these and give your body like unheard of like nutrition, you know? And you can't match this with stuff that you're buying from the store because it's not live, it's not living. Okay. Just because I can spend a little bit more personal time because it's just the two of you. So real quick, I'm going to look up, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And show you what I mean by the living. Okay, perfect. I'm going to screen share with you. Can you see this? Yeah, cool. You see right here, okay? Like you see like this electrical output, okay? That's like living things. So at Hippocrates, you know, where I studied, they had pictures of sprouts, okay, and of wheatgrass. And the stuff was off the chart. Like it was just like a flash of light, you know? And you can measure this. It's called biophotons. This is stuff that's like just starting to come out. But some people, like they've been talking about it for years. It's just finally this stuff, people are starting to come onto it because they're like, hey, you know, nutrition is more than what is on the nutrition label. There's another element to it, especially the path that KO, you and I have walked. We know there's a lot more to life than what's meeting in this physical world. And this light in the food is like helps your consciousness, helps your body, it helps everything. So this is the light that I was talking about. And I'm sure if you looked it up, you would find some sprouts. You know, and then they have pictures of cooked food versus raw food. So you'll be able to, so that's what I mean. Sprouts are like, it's just, you should see it. It's just like you plug it into an electrical outlet. It's just like, it's amazing. So that helps really understand what I'm saying when you see pictures like that too. And when you start to eat it, you know? So Andrew, do you have any questions? No? All right. Kaya, you have any more questions?
I think I'm good, man. Thank you so much for this.
Cool. So one more thing. You want to make sure you get the ball jars that are made in the United States. The Mason ball jars, like this brand Ball, B-A-L-L, because some of the other jars out there are made in China. And it's got crazy shit in the glass. All right. So somebody's coming in. He's way late, but so yeah, you want the ball jar. You don't want to be putting, you know, food, water that you're going to be ingesting in your body into a glass that's leaching out like it's some nasty stuff that they are finding in this stuff coming from China. And most people don't realize most of the stuff that they're cooking with or whatever is from there. But these jars are made in the United States and they're BPA free, which is a toxic chemical. So whenever you put something into your jars or plastic, you want to make sure it's BPA free. You always want to look for BPA free. I mean, people think, you know, like they roll their eyes at this kind of stuff sometimes, but this is the world we live in. We can either accept it or we can roll our eyes to it. And when we're 40, 50 years old, we wonder why this weird shit's happening to us. Like, you know, it's just like we have these random things happen to us and we wonder why. It's because our whole life we've been, you know, doing something and then our body just screams at you. So now we know it just takes a little bit of responsibility to change some things. In the beginning, it's annoying, but after a while, it becomes natural for you. It's not annoying anymore. All right. So that's what else. That's pretty much it. Ben Fisher, my friend, I see you just joined us. I did record this, and I will send it out in my broadcast messages. Andrea, did you get the link from my newsletter?
I got the link sent to my email.
From my newsletter though, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I hope something didn't happen with my last broadcasts that people weren't finding it. Okay. I just want to make sure that both of you came from my email. I don't know if you came from social media or somewhere else. So I will send this link out. The copy of the recording of this. I'll send it out in another email here in the next couple of days when I format it, and that way you can have it to watch again or anything like that. And you can send it to anybody that you think. I always, you know, if you come across someone that's not feeling well or something like that, you know, doesn't have to be me, but this information really, like diabetes, the chronic stuff that's everywhere, people start replacing what they're eating with this type of stuff, amazing things happen. All right. So if there's not any more questions, then we'll have a concluding moment. And yeah, that'll be it for today. Any last questions? No?
No, thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining. Keo, great to see you. Angie, great to see you. Ben Fisher, if you can hear me, my friend, you'll get a copy of this class in an email. And that's all for today, my family. Thank you so much. And I hope to see all of you sprouting.
Thank you.
All right, much love. Many blessings.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.